and welcome to Yes Please, the show where we dive into the details between episodes of Check Please. I am your host, Beardy, and today our lovely player is Keni.
Hello, my name is Keni, and I play Louie Freeman, Ice Boy Extraordinaire, invited to hang out on a rooftop tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this morning, tonight,
Well,
hard
we're
to say.
here to watch the sun get raised, so
yeah.
take
You're
it how
watching
you
the sun come
will.
up. So, do you want to set this in a certain point in time for the
Sure.
audience?
So this takes place right at the end of episode 42, where Stavik, Xander, and Husa are playing cards, and Bastion, Valentino, and Louie have gone up onto the roof to see the sunrise for the day, since we got to the tavern very, very late at night. So it's to see those first beams of light before properly going to bed, probably.
Mm-hmm. Well, at the moment, sitting at the edge of the roof is one Louie, still being watched silently by two skeletons that are at the bottom of the wall there. They're there to protect you. Of course, always to protect you and watch you at all times.
Why did you make it sound so creepy?
I don't know. I'm just explaining what they do. They're there to protect you.
Okay.
Next to Louie is Bastion, and then to the right of Bastion is a sleeping halfling holding a lute.
He really can sleep just about anywhere, can't he?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty impressed. Wish I could do that. Sometimes, I'll just sit there and my mind will just, race and race and race, and I just can't ever, shut it off sometimes. It just, keeps talking at me and stuff. Does that ever happen to you?
I mean, you're talking to the person who refuses to sleep because he doesn't like sleeping.
Oh.
Well,
okay.
I haven't had a restful sleep, let's say, since I was a child.
Pretty fucked up, bro.
Thanks.
You haven't had restful sleep since you were a kid? How does that work? How are you awake?
Well, before I would just sleep and have nightmares. Or terrors, really. And since learning magic, I just avoid sleep at all costs by using a spell that keeps me recharged and awake. It's just after some time of not sleeping at all, it seems like my spells get a little finicky, you could say.
Okay.
So
okay.
I have to sleep at some point. I just don't like it.
Dang, bro. I mean, it just sounds... When's the last time you tried to sleep? Really?
I guess when we were in those caves.
And what happened?
Well, I assume I had I know I had nightmares, but I assume I made noises that did not sound happy out loud while I was attempting to sleep.
Okay.
I mean, sleep still happens. I just wouldn't call it restful is all.
Maybe there's a kind of tea that'll help or something. Or maybe hold on. Let's see. And bro is going to turn and start rooting through Valentino's pockets.
I don't think that's really a nice thing to do.
Well, I'm not going to take anything without asking for it. I was just seeing what he's got. If he's got sleep aid in here or something. I mean, he bought a bunch of stuff from that alchemist or whatever. Herbalist. That was it. So, maybe he's got something in here that could help. Nope. All drugs. Never mind.
I was
all drugs.
Gonna say, the last time I spoke to you on drugs, you did not seem to like them, so...
I mean, yeah, most of them are really dangerous and stuff, so... not really my thing. But some of them are like not super harmful, but still like I don't know.
I smoke sometimes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, mostly when I'm stressed.
but aren't you like always stressed?
I usually do it at night when you guys aren't around, to be frankly honest, or when you're sleeping.
Oh,
But I also
that
try
would
to do it when I'm not near anyone, just so I'm not hurting them with the after effects of it, whatever that's called.
I've never smelled it on you before, so that's interesting.
Oh, that's probably because I wear cologne.
Oh, okay.
I try to
Bastion.
smell nice.
Bastion leans over and sniffs your shoulder.
He smells like sandalwood cologne.
Neat.
But if you want to make a perception check for him, you can see if he can smell Louie's actual scent underneath.
Sure. $27.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So, of course, he smells like starflower, a little bit of sandalwood musk naturally, but he obviously heightens it with the cologne. Sugared tangelo and white agarwood and amber. That's kind of his combined smell underneath the heavier sandalwood currently.
You smell kind of spicy.
I smell spicy.
Yeah, like you got a lot of like spicy flavors all at once.
Oh. Is that good?
I mean, it's fine. I don't hate it.
Okay. Thank you, I guess.
Should I?
It's just your opinion to form, dude. I just want to make sure I don't smell terrible.
No. You smell kind of spicy, that's all.
It's just not the word I would have thought of, so that's why I'm just curious what that means to you is all. I'm just trying to understand the language of Bastion.
He just looks at you and shrugs. And looks back to the sunrise. And then we'll take a sip from his glass that he brought up here with him.
But to answer your question before, I sometimes drink warm milk before I'm actually gonna sleep. Because tea usually has caffeine in it, so that'll keep me awake. Just don't get me wrong. It's my favorite, but if I need to sleep, it's warm milk. Which
Okay.
I believe was the thing I ordered when I first met you all, and can't seem to live down for some reason. Shame on me for ordering something for myself, I guess.
It just seems kind of like the thing that you, I guess, wouldn't expect someone to order in like a traveler's tavern, you know?
Yeah?
You'd expect like an ale or like a mead or a wine even. I still
Well,
expect a lot of people to order milk, that's all.
I was alcohol free for quite a while until I met you guys.
Oh. I mean, I hope we didn't like mess up a streak or anything or like
I mean, dude,
pull you back into like a bad habit.
You're kind of the one who handed me a wine sack when we were down in that Owen temple in Luciana when I had deliberately said several times that I don't drink.
I mean, I apologize for that. So like now who's not letting people live stuff down, huh?
I never said I didn't.
Oh, you brought it up, so
Yeah, but
it seemed like it was a thing that you were still upset about.
Me
Maybe.
drinking milk for myself is different than someone giving me something that I had quit. I'm just saying.
I apologized for that already, and we already been through this. So like now I just feel attacked.
Sorry. I've been trying to be nicer like you asked. This is just my way of trying to explain my point of view of things.
You just sometimes you're kind of like what are those? Those things where they're all prickly.
A cactus?
No. They're like covered in spikes.
Is this an animal or a vegetation?
Yeah. Yeah, it's alive.
A hedgehog?
No, it's like completely covered in spikes.
A porcupine? I guess its face isn't, but...
It's... Nah, like people will eat them as like a fancy thing. What are those called?
Urchin?
That's it. Sometimes you're like an urchin. You're like all covered in spikes. So I don't know how to like handle you, you know? Because I feel like no matter what angle I come at you, I'm gonna get speared.
It's not really my intention. I've really genuinely tried to be nice.
Okay.
But also, I don't want to be a pushover either and just agree to everything that everyone says like I used to before I met you guys. In its own instance, I feel like that's really disingenuous, and then you don't actually know me at all. I guess I feel like no matter how nice or how abrasive I am, and don't get me wrong, I tried to be more abrasive when I met you all because I thought you all were murderers. I just was looking out for myself, you know?
I mean, who's to say we aren't, you know?
Don't say that, please. I try, when I do sleep at night, I would like to try to actually sleep instead of worrying about that. But I've been trying to be nice, and I also kind of feel like I'm lying sometimes when I'm doing that.
You're putting on a nice face for folks, but really you're a prickly urchin underneath.
I guess so. I don't know if there's any changing that for me. I'm definitely far from a perfect person. In fact, I think I am probably one of the most flawed individuals in our group. I also don't think I really belong because of those problems. So I try to tread water with you all, but I wonder when I'll sink. I have a book about how to make friends.
Bastion just looks over at you. I just not like to sound mean or anything. Have you read the book yet?
Yeah, I'm stuck on the first few chapters steps.
Oh, okay.
It says share information about yourself things from your childhood or things that are important to you. And
Mhm.
then, in turn, the other people will most likely tell you those things about themselves. That doesn't really happen with our group.
Really? I mean, I've told you stuff about stuff.
I think there's only been one story where it was an actual major thing in your life. Well, two now.
A lot of it is kind of boring.
I don't think it's boring.
I mean, you pick pockets, you find coins where you can, you know, steal an apple or like a bunch of grapes if you're lucky. Stuff like that, you know. You find some potatoes that are partially moldy in the street. I mean, you do what you can. It's not glamorous. They're not the kind of stories that are like fun to share because they're just survival, you know. Like you have like your friends that you try to hang out with, try to watch each other's back, but you know, some of those guys get pulled into a gang or they decide to leave the city entirely and try to find someplace else and you never see them again. I mean, the groups fade away, you know, your what once might have been like your 20 best mates then turns into 10 and then 5 and then 3 and then the next thing you know you're by yourself and the world's at the same time a little smaller but way bigger. It doesn't make any sense, I guess, but
it's honestly hard for me to fathom. I really only had one childhood friend growing up and none in my adult life until very recently. So
like,
yeah, stories like that are actually interesting to me because I have no experience in them.
okay. I guess like imagine, you know, waking up in the morning and being hungry and not knowing if you're going to eat that day.
Louie nods with like a seemingly understanding expression on his face, but he's still very flat in his expression. It just seems like he gets it.
And like the only way you're going to be able to get food that day is either if you like do something you're going to regret later or you get lucky and find something in a bin that someone else threw out that is still edible.
Though I never really had to look for things thrown out. Food was often I was restricted from eating a lot of times. But that was the choice of someone with cruel intentions. Not
Your
the
your wife?
yeah.
Damn. She must have had like claws in you bad. Like,
I mean, she's the one that gave me all these scars.
so was she just like really strong or did she have like magic?
You asked me this before.
It just, I don't know, it just seems weird. Like how did you get?
I mean, think about it this way. I'm malnourished because I have food restricted for me. I probably at the time kind of acted a little crazy because I was so isolated from other people other than for very specific times. And I was broken. Emotionally, mentally. I don't know what you want to call it, but I was barely a person back then. There was nothing really to live for. I begged the gods to either save me or prayed for a swift death every day. But I'm out of it now, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, I just kind of wish I could, like, reach back through your memories and, like, punch him, you know? For being so shitty to you.
Yeah. Well... It's not much we can do about it now. I'm just trying to live my life as I wanted, or close to it, I guess, because this would definitely not be my choice to go and find a god and do whatever we're doing with all this junk, dealing with murders and all that. I just wanted to travel and see the world before I expired.
I mean, you seem pretty young, so... do you think you're going to expire soon?
Probably in a couple years or so.
Why? Like, you're not that... Like, you look like you're... You know...
I just... To be... just honest, I am dying.
Really? Like... Why?
Sometimes that's just the way the world works, I guess.
Is there, like, something we could do about it?
Well, I am seeking some answers in Pentress, I guess.
Okay.
But I don't know. I just don't see me living very long now that I'm out here.
So is this... Just trying to understand.
I don't think
this...
someone's gonna kill me or anything like that, if that's what you're worried about.
Well, like, oh, I didn't know if you were like, you thought like, oh, I'm not going to survive much longer in this kind of lifestyle sort of thing.
No,
or
no,
like,
no.
Or like, there's something that like is killing me, and I'm going to die from it soon, and there's nothing I can do about it. Kind of dying.
Option 2.
Fuck, bro, that's dark.
It happens to anyone sometimes. Anyways, I'll have a hollow laugh and blame the gods and go on with my day normally. What would you do?
Probably would have stolen more.
I'd rather leave good in the world, at least, before I pass on.
I would have stolen a whole bunch of gold to throw a really big party. Yeah.
Paint me a picture of your party.
I would throw a party big enough to invite all of the best cooks I've ever had food from.
Mm-hmm.
And there'd be everything there. There'd be all the best food.
Okay.
And people would have fun, and yeah. It'd be nice. The only weird thing is, like, I can't think who would even attend a thing like that. Like, a lot of the people I grew up with.
I'd go to your
gone.
party.
Thanks, bro. And, like, aside from just the people I'm traveling with now, like, there's maybe like a handful of people in Adrian that would even be interested in something like that.
I'm sure there are plenty of people who would be interested in a party with the best cooks that you've ever eaten from.
Yeah, but they're like, they don't know me. I mean, like,
that's
friends.
what you mean.
Yeah. Like, a lot of them, they either got pinched by the guards or they joined up on a boat and sailed away, or they got lost in a botched job. Or, sometimes they decide to turn traitor and stab me in the kidney. But,
Right.
Yeah.
As I've said before, I promise not to stab you in the kidney.
I know.
Besides, I feel like I'd be really bad at it anyways, so you have nothing to worry about.
I don't know. You have, like, those cool icicle things.
They're swords. And Louie reaches out his hand and summons his ice blade, which is just like a short sword, from his left hand. And grasps it and shows it to Bastion. I wouldn't call it an icicle, but that's me.
Okay.
He puts it away after the silence.
What would, I mean, it's a weird question since you're already going through it, but, like, what's your intention to, like, see the world as much as you can?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always has been when I first met you guys.
And so far you've seen, like, your homeland, and then Sejun, and now Burgos.
Kodre too. I went from Sejun to the desert to Kodre, and now I'm in Burgos.
Gotcha. And how was the trip from your homeland to Sejun?
I was on a boat, so it was pretty peaceful, honestly. I love being on ships. We went under Golgothia with the Twins' bridge. It goes under the land.
That's fun.
It's super cool. Did you... Sorry, you go ahead.
No, after you, bro.
Is there something you wanted to say to me?
I mean, now I'm just kind of like, I don't know, just thinking about life now. Sort of bummed about hearing that you have, like, a limited time, you know?
Louie looks out on the horizon. Still a very flat expression, but once in a while you can see those micro expressions of disdain or worry flitter across his face. I mean, maybe there's a miracle out there, something that keeps me alive, but as I see my timeline currently, I have a hard time seeing why or how I could keep living.
Tell you what, what if I find it, I'll steal it for you.
I appreciate it, though I would hope it wouldn't need to be stolen.
Why not? I mean, something like that's got to be valuable, right?
I don't know.
Well, if I find like a, cure-all or like a magic thing or like a wish, I'm gonna steal it for you.
Thanks, Bastion.
Yeah, because I bet I could fix you up with a wish.
What if I didn't want to be fixed?
Too bad. You got friends that are going to look out for you. I wish that my best bro gets a long and happy life, free of bad dreams.
Thanks, Bastion.
Yeah. And also a big pile of money. Well,
Obviously,
I don't know how
big pile
I don't know how
of
the
money.
wishes work. So maybe that last part, like,
Maybe you can just like say it all really quickly, and then it
oh,
just
and like
counts
whoever
as
gives a
one's-
wish just
yeah.
doesn't parse it out, and they're like, oh, okay, this is one wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If there's no period at the end of the sentence, it's just one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you keep saying and never end the sentence.
I'm sure that works.
I've never made a wish like that.
Yeah, what's worse that could happen?
I mean, I always believed that the stars were made out of wishes. I know it's the watermelon and stuff, but that's how I always looked at them. I'm not saying it's right, it's just a comfort thing for me. Little stories I grew up with, you know?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Just thinking about stuff.
Can
He leans
you let me in?
He leans back against the sloped roof. I don't know what that means. I'm just like just existing, you know?
Louie will kind of shift his position so he's turned more towards Bastion now that he's a little lower. I mean, sort of like, let me know what you're thinking. I want to understand your viewpoints. I'm not very good at people, as we can see from my failed attempts to use How to Make Friends, the book, so I don't know, maybe I was never meant to be around people.
I think that's wrong. I think that you are. I think you're a pretty interesting person. And, you know, you've been really helpful to everybody. So there's that.
I've been trying, but I've really only gotten myself more injured.
I mean, not as injured as like Xander or Stavik. Like they seem to get injured a lot.
Yeah. I worry about Xander because of that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know. Feels like the gods are playing some nasty tricks on him sometimes.
So you and Xander, like, you're pretty close?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. Cool.
I'm sorry if that's an issue. I know last we spoke, you seemed kind of interested in him.
What?
You know, I pulled you aside and told you it kind of bothered me that it seemed like you were pulling him along and stuff like that. And then you said,
really...
maybe I will go on a date with him and stuff.
I'm not really interested in Xander that way.
Okay. I don't really understand why you said that before then.
I'm not even sure what you mean.
Well, I said what you said. That you... Maybe I will go on a date with Xander. I'm sorry, I can't actually impersonate your voice. It's very specific and nice, so... My voice is a little weird, and I think any attempts to impersonate you are going to fail.
Yeah, that's cool.
But as far as with the words that were given to me, I took that as you know. And Xander.
Nah, they're not really my type.
Well, just a suggestion, which you already know. Try not to get someone who could possibly stab you in the kidney.
I don't know if Xander can stab me in the kidney.
He would probably slice you in the kidney, if anything. With that big old scythe.
I don't know. The thing's pretty slow.
Yeah, you think you
I
could
could ju-
dodge him?
I could jump out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Not a problem.
I couldn't. I'd probably just be cut in half. You just see the top of my body
Yep.
fall over.
Like a bunch of wheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subs are scary. Why are you asking about him?
You just seemed to have like some feelings there. That's all. I was just seeing if you felt like anything strong toward him.
Yeah, I guess right now I'd probably call him my closest friend in the group. He takes care of me, I guess, and I haven't really had that in my life very much. He also doesn't really accost me for the things I do. Even if I get angry, he doesn't really seem to get bothered by that, which is... It's nice. It reminds me of my mentor, Jackie. Oh, I used to have the worst tantrums when I'd spend time with him. Something would set me off, and I feel like back then my emotional state was a bit more complex than it has been now. I feel like I've mellowed out a little in the past few periods of time. But, yeah, he kind of reminds me of that, with this overwhelming sense of patience even when I'm at my worst. And I can have a lot of terrible moments, so yeah.
Well, hey, it's good to have people you can rely on.
I've been trying to be your friend, too. I know you say we're already friends, but again, I have no reference of what that's supposed to be, and I'm probably not really a good one anyways from my lack of practice, so I don't know. You tell me, how do I be a good friend to you?
He looks at the sunrise, takes another sip, finishing his glass, and then he tosses the glass as far as he can. It just like lands in a ditch somewhere off the rooftop. And then he leans back against the roof, lets out a long breath, and then says, I don't know. Just, keep being yourself, I guess.
I can be myself. I just... Can I say something that I'm not, like, upset with you or any way, but I'm just trying to explain how, like, I see that?
He turns his head slowly. Yeah?
it's just being like, I don't know, as you just did. It feels dismissive. Like, I don't deserve to know the answer, so I have to just figure it out. And I understand being myself, sure, but I don't even like myself, so I don't know how that's possibly going to help me.
Well, that might be the first hurdle to figure out, huh? It's maybe to, like, get other people to like you, you gotta like yourself first.
I don't think that's going to happen for a long time, Bastion.
Nah. There's a lot in there to like. I think you're just blind to it for some reason. I mean, your librarian buddy likes you.
Me and Detlef have a complicated relationship.
Yeah, but I'm sure he's got reasons that he, sees in you that he likes. So I'm just wondering why you can't see it yourself. Why do you think Detlef is friends with you?
Because I like books.
Is that a reason? I mean, do you think that's the only reason?
Because I'm trying to be like him. I mean, Detlef's more like a parental figure than,
Than a friend?
Mentor, parental, still a friend, but it's different than with, like, you or something,
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm not really good at looking at people's faces, so forgive me, but I really like your freckles, by the way.
Thanks, bro.
They look like the galaxy. It's just the sun peeking over the edge and shining on them. It kind of looks like little twinkling stars almost. It's interesting.
It's a really deep thing to tell somebody. Thanks, though.
Is it?
I mean, it just seems like one of those things that you read like in a poem. Or like, maybe it's just that like a lot of the things you say sound like they're poetic.
I guess that's just how I think.
You think in poems. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do they rhyme all the time, or is that optional?
I mean, I believe that poetry is kind of better when it rhymes less, to be frankly honest. Or the rhymes are hidden in there to where it doesn't disrupt the flow. Because if you have too many rhymes, your brain's focusing on that instead of the other words. Personal preference. Obviously, you can write a poem however you want. Almost anything can be a poem, really. Until it turns into a short story. That's a distinction, really. But yeah, I guess it's just how I think. I think I see something and I think, oh, I really like this. It reminds me of this. And usually I just keep those thoughts to myself because people might think I'm creepy. Probably.
You're not creepy.
Well, that's good.
You're in your head a lot. You worry too much. And you, for some reason, can't see anything good about yourself, which is really fucked up. But you're not creepy. You all got problems, bro.
Thank you.
But just be nicer to yourself, I guess. Like, don't be so mean to my bro.
I tend to not voice these things out loud because people get upset by them.
Well, it's just that you just constantly like put yourself down. It seems like. I mean,
I keep myself in order.
Okay. It just
Look.
sounds like.
Well, think about it this way.
Okay.
You're venting one day. You're saying, "Oh, this thing happened. I got stabbed in a kidney." You're a very casual person, so it's hard to make this instance about you. But try to put yourselves in this supposed different Bastion's viewpoint here.
Okay.
You complain one day. You're just like, "Oh, I can't do anything right. I couldn't stab a guy for some reason. I just kept trying. It wasn't working." But you say that, and then someone goes, "Oh no, that's not it." And then they keep saying how you shouldn't be saying those things about yourself over and over again. And I don't know about you, but to me, that's making it more about the other person instead of you just venting something because you just had a rough day.
I'm sorry. I spaced out. I caught none of that.
Yeah.
What was that, bro?
For me, I guess it doesn't feel bad to say mean things about myself. But when other people freak out about it, then it feels like it actually is a big deal, and then it makes it more about their concerns than just me venting about how I felt. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
I don't really understand.
It's okay. I'll keep trying.
It just sounds like you've taken all that shit that your wife told you and like you've believed it. Just fucked. She's gone, bro.
I didn't really believe what she said.
It just sounds like you're kind of saying the same things about yourself that she had said to you. So it's like you internalized it or something.
Mm.
So, don't do that. Stop it.
Helpful.
Yeah. Thanks. I do my best.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna head down and remind Husa to go to the cart.
Oh shit. I mean, it might be too late for that.
Yeah, maybe she's already gone. If anything, I'll be saving Xander from Stavik.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
There's only so much you can handle of a skeleton man, I guess.
And you got a couple extras following you around now, so that's fun.
Yeah. I don't know why I needed them to be on the roof, but Xander has good intentions.
I hope so. If he doesn't, I'm going to stab him in the kidney.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't, I can't blame that at all. It's just how it goes then,
That's how it goes, Talk to my bro, you get stabbed. That's how it works.
Louie stands up. And what about me?
What about you?
What if I accidentally fuck with someone who you care about? Do you stab me?
You already have been.
What do you mean?
So I told you to knock it off. He just looks at the sunrise, puts his arms behind his head, and his eyes will slowly drift closed. Seems the exhaustion of the long night finally caught up with him.
Louie is going to unclasp his kind of half cape that he's been mostly wearing as a shawl lately. And he's going to drape it over Bastion so that he has a blanket and a bit of sun protection. And then he will not have Featherfall prepared, unfortunately, so...
Climb check.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, please don't be bad. Please don't be bad. 6?
You don't fall off the building,
Uh-huh.
but you do find yourself hanging off the eave. Like you can let go and fall a couple of feet, but you weren't able to successfully climb down properly.
Okay.
So you're still hanging off the edge of the building.
With
You can
one
try
hand.
You can try again if you'd like.
Yeah, he'll try. Okay, 13. That's better.
Yeah, that's better. You manage to catch your legs on one of the bracing beams, and you're able to transfer your grip from the eaves to that beam, and then take a couple of steps down and make it to the ground without hurting yourself.
Good night,
The
Bastion.
two skeletal figures stare at you silently.
Requiem, Rhapsody.
They do not answer.
Let's go save Xander. And he'll enter into the tavern, which is where we will leave this part 1 at, I believe.
So, at that point, Louie, you slide off the building, narrowly avoiding hurting yourself, and then walk back toward the entrance to the border house. Of course, the two skeletons will silently follow you, because that's not creepy at all. And you make your way back inside the building.
Yeah.
As you do,
What do
What's
I
up?
see?
what do you see?
Tell
You
me.
see you see an interesting scene. In front of you, there appears to be the early morning crowd here in the border house, especially after the events of the previous night. There is a larger than normal crowd at this time, even though it's the wee hours of the morning. But sitting at the same table that a bunch of you were sitting at earlier, you'll notice Stavik and Xander having a conversation.
Louie will walk in with the expression of someone who thinks that they don't show their heart on their sleeve, but definitely does. Where it's a bit confused and maybe a little upset as he walks towards the table that has kind of been claimed by our group at this point while we've been staying here.
As Louie walks in, or as he opens the door, Xander's eyes immediately kind of flick over and follow him and the girls, even as he is talking to Stavik.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, Louie. Sure.
Davik, I'm gonna steal Xander. Cool. Just doesn't even let him answer and just turns over to Xander. Hey, yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Thank you. I can't believe you understood that.
Understood what?
Noises.
Hmm.
Okay, bye. Just waves at Stavik, who remains awake forever because there is no
Xander.
outrunning death.
Xander turns and follows Louie without saying bye to Stavik.
So Louie just kind of walks far enough away from the table that is just pretty much to be out of earshot / hidden behind other customers in the building, since there's plenty, it seems. Hey, is there anything you want to do this morning that would maybe get my mind off of the conversation I just had?
Oh, did it go that well?
Oh. It was surprising, to say the least.
Oh, interesting. Surprising.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose by way of answer, we could make those cookies.
I would love to. Let's ask the barkeep if we can borrow the kitchen, maybe.
Sure.
It's still in the AM early morning shit.
It's true.
Excuse
As you
me.
approach the bar, you can see that the person behind the bar is busily counting something under the bar. And as you approach, she closes something under the bar, puts her hands, like resting them on the bar, and gives you both a smile as you approach.
Hello. I was wondering if there was any chance I could rent a portion of your kitchen to borrow it this morning, or like right now.
Something you need special? I mean,
We
you do have a cook on staff if you need something made.
just wanted to make cookies together. It's
I mean,
not
there's
really an opportunity to make
Well-
cookies on the road, so
You're going to be bringing your own flour and sugar and whatnot, or are you using the kitchens?
I've got some ingredients. Louie looks over at Xander just to check first.
Xander is going to reach into his pouch and he's going to drop 50 gold on the counter. This should cover the costs, I believe.
Yeah, that'll cover the costs. All right. She takes the 50 gold and slides it into her hand and places it in a container behind the bar. Well, make yourselves at home. There is an oven built into the back of the fireplace there. She points to the fireplace to your northeast. If you head on into the kitchen, you'll find the oven on the back side of that.
Thank you so
Help
much.
yourself to the rest of the ingredients in there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And she will also produce a small silver key. Place it there on the bar in front of you.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Louie will take the key and smile at Xander and then just head gesture towards the kitchen, which I assume is not on this map, so we're gonna theater of the mind.
It is on this map.
There's a kitchen on this map?
There's a kitchen.
There's a
Ow!
kitchen on this map.
Holy shit! We have everything!
Mm-hmm.
So Louie will lead the way.
Xander will follow.
All right. So you make your way up past the fireplace and the sitting areas, and you find a room here that has been locked. Would you like to use your key on this door?
Yes, please. I title
It
dropped.
doesn't
There you
open.
go.
Oh. Louie will enter.
You step into a well-appointed kitchen
Huh.
and find that there is, in fact, a small oven built into the backside of the fireplace.
This is pretty spacious for a kitchen.
Hmm.
Huh.
Girls, please follow me. This is rather spacious, I suppose.
Oh, are you used to bigger kitchens, Xander?
Oh no, I was never
Allowed?
really... There was no need for me to be in the kitchen.
Louie looks around for a bit. It's... I think, average, maybe?
It's bigger than our kitchen back in Louisiana.
Yeah, that's a small kitchen. I think. I'm not really sure. It's I'm sure it's average, that one probably, for a big
Compared
building.
to your grandmother's kitchen.
Louie tilts his head and looks visually like he's thinking for a moment. Yeah, it was smaller than my grandma's kitchen, yeah. It's been a long time since I went to her house. I was really little when that happened. She passed on when I was a teenager. So
I see.
I guess I haven't really thought about her kitchen in a long time. Huh. Anyways, what kind of cookies are we making again?
We are making powder cookies.
Okay. So, probably most of the ingredients are here, but I have a suggestion.
All right, what is your suggestion, Louie?
Louie will shuffle through his bag a little bit more longer than he normally shuffles through it, because it looks like he's pushing some scrolls out of the way when he does so, until he gets a little pouch out and hands it to Xander. And it smells really good and floral. And Xander will probably recognize the scent, but let me know if you feel confident in that or if you want to roll for it.
I mean, I think I know what it is, but I'll roll for it anyways.
Yeah.
Let's go perception.
Perception.
It's 23.
It's lavender. it's lavender, yeah.
Yeah.
If
I
we
wonder what it is.
use a mortar and pestle, it can be mixed in with the dry ingredients and add a bit more of a different taste to them. But if that's not your flavor, then we can just skip out. It's just I keep a little pouch with me sometimes.
Not surprising. I am rather fond of lavender, though I need to think about this for a second. And he's going to put a hand up to his chin, and he's just going to stare off into the distance.
Louie, while he's waiting, starts to just like press against the scars on his fingers with one of his other hands, and then just starts to rock back and forth between his toes and his heels, just cause it's his waiting thing.
Yeah, I think that should work.
Okay, that's good. Did you have to ask the spirits that be in this room or something?
No, not very many spirits in this room.
That's good. You never know with a tavern.
That is true.
I've read stories about like haunted locations where people go to them and want to be haunted. It's weird, honestly.
That seems like a perfectly natural reaction to a haunted location.
Is it?
Is that not what we did in Belmez?
I didn't want to go.
I suppose that's true.
I don't know. Maybe I just have more self-preservation.
I don't know. I think it was a very fun and enriching experience.
Well, I mean, drew a cool picture out of it. I guess now that I've been like a while away from that.
And you got to learn a little bit more about Clara. Deepen your bonds of friendship.
I mean, I still don't really like that she lied about you. With the whole "he threatened me" thing.
Well, I was going to curse her.
You told her that?
No.
Oh. Well, how would she know?
Well, she wouldn't.
To be frankly
But then
honest,
I decided not to.
I kind of thought maybe she was the murderer for a little bit.
Really?
Well, she had like this sense of confidence that like she was unkillable. So, I don't know. I feel like it was
Wait
weird.
a minute, Louie. By that logic, would that not make you also the murderer?
I guess. I suppose I have no room to speak.
Now that you mention it, the last girl that we interviewed did mention a cold knife in her chest.
Yeah.
Louie.
It's me all along.
I knew it
Yep.
from the first moment I saw you unconscious on that floor.
Yeah, passed out from seeing a sliced open body. Yep.
Yeah, that's probably what the murderer would want you to think.
You can see him start to grow a little pale just thinking about it as he's trying to like put on a tough expression. Yeah.
Well, I'm
Definitely.
sure that with a little bit more practice or experience, you'll get over these first time jitters, perhaps.
Yeah. I'll work on it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
Oh, right. I know Echo isn't here, but I do have a gift for the girls, if that's okay.
Of course. The Echo is here.
I don't think he can use the gift I had for him.
Probably not.
Yeah. So, I'll keep that for until he may appear again.
All right. What sort of gift do you have for the girls?
Louie takes out a little object from his bag. It's got kind of cloth folded over it several times, it seems. And he undoes this bundle, and as he undoes it, you can see at first like the first shine of glinting kind of brassy gold metal underneath until he unwraps it completely, and it is a butterfly shaped brooch. And he moves his hand to the head of the butterfly and pulls it, and it's a pin, so it detaches between the two wings, and he pulls them apart and then looks at Xander with them apart. I figured each girl could get a wing.
That's very cute. I like that.
Well, if they're Requiem and Rhapsody, I feel like they should match a little bit, but also be their own.
Indeed. I'm in agreement with you there, Louie. Requiem, Rhapsody, Louie has a gift for you. Please come over.
Do you think they have any preference on who gets what wing?
If they did, I don't think they'd be able to communicate that to you, Louie.
Okay. That's unfortunate. Well, hopefully I choose all right. He will give Requiem the right wing and Rhapsody the left wing. And pulls out an extra pin for the other wing to kind of put it into the cloaks that they're wearing, each respectively on the correct side that the wing is for.
Xander will make sure that they are nicely pinned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Pin their cloaks with the wings. However, the two in front of you seem to take no interest, nor do they compliment them in any such way.
What?
I know, right?
I
Such
need
ungratefulness.
people to tell me they like my gifts or some shit.
I'm afraid they make no such gestures.
Disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
Louie just smiles as he adjusts one of them and then kind of does that little stand back thing where he observes the work almost and then looks back up at Xander.
A fascinating choice.
Is it?
Yes.
I used to wear that as a child, and I also used it to embellish my Sejanese outfit, but obviously I don't really wear that often, so...
That could change.
I did consider bringing it, wearing it to the trade fair, but with the whole commentary on There Will Be Blood, I didn't want to get it messed up.
That is quite understandable. Probably for the best, honestly. Though, speaking of the market, you did manage to avoid the blood.
Oh. I guess I did. There was still blood, though, based on what Valentino and Stavik said, though.
Yes, there was blood.
Yeah.
But like I said, you didn't have to be there for it.
True. I felt pretty useless in that whole situation. But, I mean, how could I have planned for an auction? Because how could I plan for someone to get kidnapped? I guess I should have been more diligent, but it happened the way it happened.
Diligent in what sense?
I don't know, being aware, maybe... I don't know if I trust the others too much and that's a problem, or how much I need to take on to help people, but is me helping people actually helping? It doesn't make fully sense when I say it out loud, but it's just a lot of swimming concerns in my head often about really what's going to create the best outcome of things.
That sounds very tiring, Louie.
I know. It is very tiring.
Yeah. Do you ever take a break from that?
His eye twitches for just a moment. Probably. When I sleep.
You sleep?
Sometimes.
Really?
I mean, you've been there for the last few times. So...
So long ago. I was a different person back then.
Xander.
What?
You're funny, but also, I guess I kind of want to call you a brat.
Well, you did.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
Good.
Well, I'm sure it would feel better if you actually slept, but maybe that's not happening anytime soon.
Louie touches, like, the area around his eyes for a moment and then looks up at Xander. Can you tell I used it?
Keep
I just
watch.
told on myself, didn't I?
You have a habit of telling on yourself,
Yep.
Louie.
Okay. Right.
Not the worst trait, but why did you though?
Well, I mean, Bastion and I guess Valentino too, but he fell asleep pretty soon after he started playing music. Since I was up there and I didn't want to be rude and accidentally fall asleep, and also I'm still really not used to sleeping around people that much. It just didn't seem safe or wise to not do that.
I see, though I feel like the negatives may outweigh the positives in this case.
I can still technically fall asleep if I force myself to.
Are you going to force yourself to?
Will you watch over me?
Right now?
I would like to still make the cookies. We don't really
Perhaps.
get opportunities like this very often.
I suppose that's true. And maybe some warm milk and cookies will be just what you need to get some sleep and deal with. And then he makes a gesture.
Right. Well, let's get the dry ingredients together. And Louie starts kind of ducking under and looking for a mortar and pestle while we're here.
Yeah, you do find one in the kitchen.
Okay. He'll pull that out, just kind of look around and just place it absent-mindedly on one of the counter spaces. It's more like he's just trying to find everything that's necessary for cookies, but not really in an orderly sense, which might seem a little odd for Louie.
Xander's probably standing in the corner just kind of watching Louie running around back and forth, looking slightly amused, but not really saying anything.
Okay, and there's butter. Awesome. Okay. Always need butter. And he takes like a bit of the butter off and sticks it in his mouth for a moment, smacks his lip, and then nods, and then goes to grab some salt. It was unsalted, sorry. I know people like salt in cookies, but I think minimal is best for cookies in general.
I would agree.
It's just kind of one of those recipe ingredients where you're like, well, everyone makes cookies with salt, so you gotta have salt in it, but I just mostly just... When they say a pinch, I believe it, you know, just a pinch. That should be most ingredients. And it is haphazardly, non-ordered whatsoever, but it's all on the counter now. That's probably good enough for a recipe. Do you think I'm missing any ingredients? It's been a while since I've baked.
Xander is going to step over to the counter, looking over all the ingredients, and he's going to kind of reach down, and what he does is he rearranges the positions of the ingredients on the table without really adding or taking anything away. It's as if he's just like jigsaw puzzling it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then after about a minute or so, he will nod.
Okay,
I think
awesome.
that this should be roughly what we need.
Then we'll do it rough. All right. Lavender, please.
Xander will drop the pouch in Louie's hand, and he
And-
will also hand over a book.
Louie will take it, flip through. I'm guessing this is the cooking book that Xander had procured from the library.
Indeed.
Okay.
This is a gift from our friend Deadlow.
I don't know what you're talking about. Lou just smiles and flips open to the page.
You're not friends with Detlef?
Oh, sorry. I just meant I don't know how it could possibly be from him.
Why not?
Are we playing the opposite game now?
Are we?
Before we weren't gonna talk about him, and there, and now we are.
Talk about who?
Ugh. Louie hip checks Xander, just kind of bumps him. It's not very effective, I'll be frankly honest, since he doesn't have much strength, but it seems like he put in a lot of force.
Xander, I need a fort save or death.
Sure, I'd love to do that. I'd also like to remind you that as you hip check Xander, his hip feels like it is made out of stone.
Oh fuck! You just hear a from Louie.
It's a 6.
Then.
I die.
I'm afraid Xander dies on the spot.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just hear a disgruntled noise from Louie as he realizes his mistake too late.
You all right, Louie?
Yep. Sorry. I appear to have been too playful. I apologize.
For what? I didn't feel anything.
Oh, I did. He's
Well.
just rubbing his side for a moment as he kind of moves his arm around, his right arm, to be physically behind the mortar, and then he's using his left hand to crush into the lavender to kind of make it a finer powder. But his body's mostly over this in order to not move the object while he's working on it.
I'm glad that you felt it. It's good to feel things.
Do you think that way for yourself?
Yes. I feel things all the time, Louie.
That's good. So, with you being, metal right now, metal? How much do you feel? Is it the same as before you were metal, or is it duller?
I suppose that depends on whether I am the same me that I was before I became like this. No?
I suppose. How do you see it?
Well, temperature is different, for one.
Describe
I
it.
could probably wade through the snow, tumble around, and not feel cold.
And Louie gets a nostalgic expression on his face. I love the snow so much.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I always enjoyed it when I was little in the winter.
We'll see snow again.
We gotta get through summer. Oof.
Well, perhaps one day you will also experience something similar, and then you won't have to worry about summer either. I believe heat is also not as much of a problem as it was before.
Why did you end up, doing this anyways?
Xander kind of raises his hand and flexes it. I'm stronger this way.
eventually Louie will finish crushing the bulbs, give the stone a good tap so that the powder comes off of the crushing section of it, set it down, and then move it over to where the dry ingredients are.
Besides, I feel like perhaps Husa might be lonely.
Many emotions cross Louie's face as he takes a deep breath when you mention Husa's name. I don't even know where to start with that one. None of this is her fault. I just mostly feel bad for her.
I also feel quite bad for Husa.
He ruined her and he doesn't even realize it.
It's frustrating, but she does not even recall.
Yeah. Thanks, hag. I imagine that's where it's from.
Indirectly, probably.
Well, everything has a through line.
That's true.
Where did you learn this thing? Well, it came from this, so therefore it's also that person's fault in some weird way, shape, or form. Just like I believe Husa asking out Stavik is somehow my fault as well.
Well, she did say she was interested in someone much older.
I didn't think it was ancient.
He's not that old now.
I didn't think it was a fucking skeleton. But she didn't know that either, so that's not her fault. It's his fault.
Yes, I would definitely agree with that. I'm curious to see how this relationship develops now that she's even more
brainwashed. Yeah. Louie is gonna start mixing the dry ingredients together, taking a whisk and kind of making sure they're all sifted correctly to each other. And he just looks like he's thinking for a moment as he's doing that. It just kind of reminds me of a lot of women I knew growing up.
Say more.
Well, you know, there was my sister, and she disappeared on her wedding day, but I feel like if she had to have stayed in that marriage, maybe it would have been something like that. It's hard to tell, but I'm glad she didn't, obviously.
Yeah. But she would have at least had the knowledge that something was wrong.
True.
Which unfortunately Husa does not.
I did it for her. He just starts mixing more vigorously in anger. She has no life with me. I've only ruined it completely.
I wonder how many times he will say that before our journey is over.
Pretty sure she's gonna pass on before.
Yes. I'm mostly curious about what happens after.
Yeah. Do you think I'm like an urchin? A sea urchin, specifically, if you've ever heard of that.
Thank you for the clarification, Louie.
I'm fine.
A sea urchin.
Yeah.
In what sense?
Well, while I was speaking to Bastion, he said I was like a sea urchin. Prickly. Although I feel a little weird about being called a bottom feeder. And
But you're very highly coveted. Perhaps he was just saying that you have a lot of defense mechanisms that can make it hard to approach, but once you know how to get around those defense mechanisms, there is a treasure trove waiting on the inside.
I'd rather not
Perhaps
be.
he wants to eat you.
I would rather not be smashed open to be eaten. That sounds painful and
Well,
uncomfortable.
the good news is he probably wouldn't smash you open. He'd probably stab you in the kidneys, so no need to worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping for the most part the least amount of stabbing of kidneys and anyone in our group actually hurting each other, but we're not really on a great track record for that.
I don't think there's been a single day on our journey together that we have not hurt each other.
As a group in whole, or are you saying you and me?
Our group as a whole.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because if I've been hurting you, I'd prefer to know so I can amend such things.
Well, sea urchin spines are nothing compared to... And he'll tap his hand.
Louie will set down whatever object he's using to stir, because I imagine he's been folding things in as you've been talking. And he'll just touch the end of his index finger from his left hand to Xander's palm. All good?
What would you do if I just started bleeding profusely from my palm when you did that?
Well, one, I think you should know what I'd do, because I'd probably start freaking out and saying, I'm sorry. What did I do wrong? How do I fix it? And then I'd probably instinctively try to grab your hand in hopes that I could stop the bleeding with, like, a fabric I have on me. And if that made it worse, I would probably grab my hands back and throw the said fabric at you so that you could tend to it, and then continue apologizing profusely.
That tracks.
Yeah, I feel like I've got some pretty decent predictive text when it comes to how I would react to things.
Yeah. I don't think that you are all that much like a sea urchin for what it counts.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. It was a really weird conversation.
Oh yeah?
I feel like I don't know if he was mad at me.
Bastion?
Yeah. Like yesterday, very recently, he's been very, very sweet, honestly, and for the most part, seems to be trying to just be a bit more friendly with me.
Mm-hmm.
Although then again, a lot of that involved drinking, so I'm not 100% sure on some things. But I don't know. He gave me this look when he was leaving, like he wanted to, I don't know, talk or something, or at least wanted me to follow. So I did, and then he didn't really have anything to say to me. So I kept asking, and then I explained to him maybe that I have a book on how to make friends, and then he asked me if I've even read it.
Now that I believe Bastion said.
Yeah.
Have you even read that, bro? Something like that.
Yeah, so maybe some of his statements were a bit painful to hear.
I'm sorry for the pain that you experienced.
I don't know if I'm mad at him. I don't think I'm mad at him. I think I'm mostly maybe a little sore about it.
If it makes you feel any better, there's a very high likelihood that Bastion did not think about any of the words he was saying before he said them.
I wish he would. God. If he could just think for just a couple of seconds before the words exit his mouth. I just feel like maybe there would be less problems between me and him. But
Potentially.
I don't know. Maybe he's just having a bad morning. Anyways, he's asleep on the roof. I put my half cape on him so he wouldn't get sunburnt.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Well,
Does seem to like the rooftops.
he
and
has
watching the sunrise.
freckles, so. I heard once that someone with his complexion, the sun's kind of rough on him, so I didn't want him to get hurt, even if sleeping on the roof was his choice.
Now, would a sea urchin do that?
A sea urchin doesn't have arms. Or cloaks.
Well, see? The comparison falls apart.
Yeah. What would you relate Louie as he is currently to?
Well, that's easy. A hero.
Louie just turns his body partially away, but his face is directly away from Xander currently as he stirs more vigorously.
Xander seems not to notice.
Sorry, his flower.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is most certainly flour.
Yeah. And Louie will slide his bowl over. Eggs, please. We probably want 2.
Xander will reach over for the eggs, pause, kind of move his hands around, and then
Louie
select
will
2.
move his hand over Xander's. You're not allowed to touch that, right?
I'm not allowed to touch what?
Well, the eggshells are white.
I see. That's
mean,
all right.
I think it's fine if you want to. I just wanted to make sure it was okay for you. If you didn't want to touch them, I'd take care of it for you.
I appreciate that, Louie. Xander's going to say as he picks up 2 eggs. As long as I'm not wearing it.
Very specific. I'll make sure not to
Yes.
throw eggs at you.
It's quite fine.
Although I do imagine Louis
Throwing
looks.
eggs at me?
No, Louis looks he shakes his head and is looking at Xander's hand. If you're partially metal now, can you cook things on you? Think if it's a really hot day.
If it's a really hot day, I feel that I would likely not be particularly conductive to heat.
Okay.
But I could probably make it so.
You're good, Xander.
All right. Well, if you ever find an individual you would like to be cursed with heat conduction for the purpose of frying eggs, I will do my best to make it happen.
Yeah. Maybe there could be a use for Stavik after all.
Oh, he could certainly fry an egg if we cracked him open enough. Perhaps you should try.
Don't tempt me, Xander. I'd probably feel bad about it if I did, so best to not. Even if
Okay.
he is a monster. Stupid, stupid fucking monster.
He seems to be in good health now.
Yeah. For now.
Unfortunate.
I'm sorry I left you alone with him.
No, it's quite all right. I was very much in control of the situation, you could say.
I imagine you were, but it doesn't mean it's good company.
That's fair.
I mean, once Husa went to bed, I imagine. Ugh. And some vanilla.
Very important.
And the pinch of salt.
You know, you don't have to add it, right, Louie?
Yeah, but then, like, the cookies will taste better to other people.
I suppose that is true.
What's your preference?
I've never eaten a cookie before, Louie.
Right. You haven't really eaten that much. Okay. Are you going to eat any of these?
Oh, yes.
Louie is going to reach into the salt jar. And it is the tiniest fucking pinch of salt that he takes. And he just puts it in the bowl. That's good enough.
I see.
I don't really
Noted for the record.
Perhaps the pinches of salt I take are smaller than even the recommended amount, but it's so salty otherwise.
Interesting.
Yeah. I used to frustrate my grandma, actually, because I would hide the salt when we would bake.
Even though you loved her confections that much.
Well, yeah, but if they were made for me, I don't need salt. But they were usually made for the whole family, so maybe I was a little selfish when I was small.
Well, that is generally the case with young children.
That's true. It's only natural because they don't know any better yet, and you're supposed to teach them.
Yeah. Maybe you're a snail.
He just stops mixing and just stares at Xander.
Since you don't like salt.
Louie's gonna take a pinch of salt and just put it on his tongue and stick it out at Xander. I'm not frying, so I think I'm good.
Xander is going to very pointedly look at Louie's right arm.
It's not shriveling up currently. And that is a completely different effect that has nothing to do with salt.
How do you know? I seem to remember one Louis Freeman saying, my head wasn't completely, I wasn't really sure exactly what happened. So whether or not that had anything to do with salt cannot be confirmed by you.
I don't know, because the others actually will not say what happened to me.
They probably don't remember it happened at all.
Huh.
Not in the, they have no recollection of the event, but...
Oh, they just don't care.
I'm not sure that it's that they don't care. I just don't think their memories are stored and processed in the same way that yours and mine are.
Huh.
For example, when we were in Louisiana and I was vomiting up all that blood because my stomach was twisted,
Yeah.
Stavik and I had that conversation where I called him darling, and he told me that only his wife could call him that because she was very close to his heart. And now, there's another that is close to his heart.
Supposedly. He doesn't have a heart, though.
He does not.
Either instance of them, in my opinion. If he had one, he would have considered the outcome more distinctly.
Well, unfortunately, this is just the beginning of the poor choices that Stavik is going to make.
You're fucking right, Jesus. Sorry. I shouldn't swear as much as I do.
Why not?
It's inappropriate.
For who?
I don't... It just is?
Something inappropriate just is? That seems unfair to the words.
I don't know. I guess I was raised not to use vulgar language, so I guess I just kind of hear it when I use it.
Well, perhaps you can use vulgar language as a sort of take that to your upbringing.
Here. Louie is going to pass the bowl over to Xander. I think you're going to be able to fold this much better than I am at this point.
That's funny.
Oh. I suppose that was accidentally funny.
How would you like me to do it?
So, here's what you're going to do. And Louie is going to angle his hand over Xander's. Now you're going to take your other arm, hold the bowl with it, so that you've got a good basis on it, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to take this spatula and we're going to keep moving the dough over itself over and over again. It kind of adds air into the dough. And we're making sure that none of the dry ingredients are still left by doing that, because sometimes they can kind of get a little stuck in the bottom or in between where it's not properly mixed. So right now we're just making sure we're getting everything put together right now.
Sure. Requiem, Rhapsody, why don't you help with this?
The two of them move forward and look at you.
Excellent. Hold this, Requiem, he's going to say, and he's going to hand the spatula over.
Requiem moves over and holds the spatula for you.
Lovely. Rhapsody, would you hold this bowl?
Rhapsody holds the bowl.
Okay, now Requiem, I'd like you to make this gesture repeatedly.
It looks at you. And looks... It doesn't seem to quite understand.
Okay. Xander is going to take the spatula from Requiem, and then he's going to fold. And then he's going to hand the spatula back. And he's going to say, do that thing that I just did.
Taking the spatula in its hand, it looks over to the bowl and is going to make an attack roll at the bowl.
Yes. Yes. That's what I was hoping for. Let's go.
It successfully strikes the bowl with the spatula. However, it does not seem to do a whole lot of much. The spatula is made of wood, and the bowl is also made of wood. So it just kind of makes some sound and knocks the bowl out of the hands of your other companion.
Oh.
So that'll falls to the floor.
Xander looks at Louie.
Louie will pick up the bowl. Did any of the dough fall out or anything, or did it flip
Some of
upside
it.
down? Okay.
A little bit fell.
Really?
What?
It's dough.
Yeah, it slid.
Yeah.
Okay. So he'll cut off the area that touched
You
the
can put
ground.
that back in, Louie.
You're gonna bake it. I mean, that makes it clean, right?
He dusts it off then and puts it back in the bowl, kind of giving Xander an expression of why.
Xander tilts his head. What's the matter, Louie?
It touched the ground. It's dirty now.
Yes.
Okay.
And then he snaps his fingers and purify food and drink on the food.
Nice.
Right. I forget about magic sometimes.
Magic doesn't forget about you, though, Louie.
He looks at his right arm. I guess not. It's, I'm curious to see what Pentress has to say about it.
I am curious to hear what they have to say as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna be visiting the, elven names. Aronius's family. I don't know if you know very much about Pentress.
The alchemists?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I need to talk to them.
Sure.
Hey, maybe Zulin will enjoy seeing their lab factory thing.
Somehow I feel like Zulin has other priorities for Pentress.
You never know.
That's true.
Maybe our priorities are in the same building.
Perhaps they are, though.
They're not.
I
I'm sorry. I know they're not.
I see.
I mean, I don't know, no. I just... Decent instinct on the moment. But
Starfish. You're a starfish.
and why am I a starfish, Xander? And Louie's gonna start taking pieces of the dough and using his right hand as just like a base because it doesn't move, and just molding a circular shape into it with his left.
Well, pretty hard to kill them, relatively speaking.
Okay.
If you try and destroy one of its arms, it'll come back.
That is true. People take them and dry them up and then sell them too.
That is also correct.
For the low, low price of one single life.
Quite a high price if you ask me.
Depends on the person who's buying, I guess.
I suppose that is true. You're having thoughts.
Sorry. I was just reliving a moment.
What sort of moment?
The day I met someone. I don't even know what I did, but for some reason this person became very, very obsessed with me through no really interaction, in my opinion, that I ever did that could possibly elicit that reaction. But as I've told you in the past, I feel as though for some reason my presence boosts people's emotional reactions for some reason.
Well, you maybe looked them in the eye.
I can't remember.
Well, if you didn't, then we can rule out the bewitching eyes.
I mean, at some point I had to look them in the eye, but
It's true.
it's hard to say. I always thought of that day, I still do, think of that day as a terrible, terrible instance, but I can't remember if I looked them in the eyes.
Interesting.
I mean, I feel as though the past 10 years have kind of made my whole eye contact thing pretty shitty, but I don't know. Was I afraid to look at people back then? It's hard to think about that person who young Louie was, I guess.
Sometimes it's like that.
Yeah, I guess I have a weird separation of myself based on time periods in my life.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
I can understand that.
Because I feel as though I could, if that younger version of me was in front of me right now, I don't think I'd look at them like they were me, but rather their own person. So I guess that's kind of how I look at my past sometimes.
Interesting.
I mean, I would tell the younger me to fucking run, but, they were a child.
Yeah. Not a lot of places to run to.
No. It's a little easier when you're in your 20s, apparently.
And, yeah.
And another time, then.
Another time, then.
So, am I gonna shape all these cookies?
Or are you going to shape all the cookies?
I don't know. Do you want to help? Louie will move the bowl a little bit closer to Xander.
Sure. I'll participate. And Xander will try his hand at shaping a few of these cookies.
I like to imagine that Louie's are just a little bit smaller than Xander's just because of hand size. And he's like looking at them as they're getting placed on a tray, and he's just like, So he starts trying to make his slightly bigger to match Xander's.
Xander is going to make a set of cookies that are that size, and then he makes a set of cookies that are much smaller than the ones that Louie is making.
Okay. Should I follow suit?
Oh, only if you want to.
Yeah. I'd follow you. Just give me a second. I will say I was a lot faster at this when I had two arms, but very specifically when I had my dominant arm.
That does make sense. The starfish allegations are...
through the roof, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ocean life. Was not anticipating to be related to ocean life.
Really? That's surprising.
I mean,
You
sure.
seemed to like it so much the last time.
I love the ocean, don't get me wrong. I just... I feel as though there's a relation between wanting to be somewhere but not belonging either. I may want to be by the ocean constantly, but sometimes, even though the sound of waves on a beach is very comforting, sometimes it also reminds me of very bad moments in my life. That's what I use to concentrate on getting away from said bad things, but now that I'm away from that, it's like also bad in a way that I could never have anticipated.
Sure. Your feelings about the ocean are complex.
The ocean is complex.
It is.
I'm very excited to show you a beach eventually.
Do
And you're gonna get so much fucking sand stuck in your shoes.
you want to bet?
No, not with you.
Why not?
Because you're gonna find some way to have it so that sand can't stick to you. You're gonna have some magical thing so you'll win the bet. And then you'll smile at me and say, "See, Louie?
Well,
It doesn't stick."
I suppose I should just retire since you're going to be the seer of the group.
Was I right?
I don't know. Were you?
I think there's a high probability.
Well, you decided not to bet, so you changed the course of the future.
That's true. It's kind of something I'm okay at, probably.
Changing the course of the future?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll be doing a lot of that.
I'm hoping for the better. I didn't like that reaction.
What reaction?
The nonverbal kind of maybe nod.
what if to change things for the better, you have to make things worse?
Well, I guess I'd believe you a little bit.
Hmm.
I think sometimes people have to do shitty things to get good outcomes.
I am very much in agreement with that.
I know. But in the very least, my goal is to not be shitty to our party or the group. That is something I hopefully can control in my life.
I think you're doing a fairly good job of that, Louie, though you could set your ambitions a little bit higher than that.
How so?
Well, given the scope and scale of the adventure we have set on, I feel like not being the word that you used to the group or the party is the bare minimum of good things that you will do.
I think I'll do plenty of good things. I think maybe rather in contrast, I was trying to say, I will make sure that none of my repercussions affect us as best I can. I don't know if there's anyone really out there searching for me, if my paranoia is even a reasonable thing. But if there is, I would prefer to avoid affecting everyone else with it.
Why?
I just don't want to be a burden. I don't think anyone needs that on their plate. Everyone's got their own issues, and I don't need to add on my own stuff to everyone else.
I don't think that there is a person in the group who doesn't want you to add your burden to their plate.
Yeah, but I have to determine if that doesn't mind part involves manipulation of some kind on their end.
For certain members of the group, it almost certainly involves some form of manipulation.
Yeah. So, I'm cautious. Though, I guess me attempting to be nice to everyone probably isn't being read as such, so I gotta really figure out what I want to do in the future right now.
It's actually honestly quite surprising to me.
I know I sort of get upset easily, but I genuinely thought that I was trying enough that people would think I was being less harsh than when we first met, but you know what? You're right. They do have very specific memories that do not work the same way that you and I have memories working.
Yes, I think it's one of those every day you wake up and the objects in your room have been shifted ever so slightly.
Ugh.
And over time you don't notice because the change is gradual, even though the end result is completely different from the original result. It's kind of like that.
Mm. I once heard a story about a woman who had a pet turtle. And she wanted this pet turtle to grow into a very large turtle. But the turtle's breed itself didn't grow very large. I imagine she wanted a tortoise, to be frankly honest. But
Probably.
in order to make his wife happy, the husband of that woman every night would take the turtle and change it out for a slightly bigger turtle. And would put I think it had a bow or something on it, some sort of object. He would take this object and it would be the exact same every time, but he kept the first turtle's bow. Now, this goes on for several weeks, and every day the wife complains that the turtle isn't getting any bigger. It's an old tale. Until one day, the husband brings in the last large turtle that he got for his wife. And instead of putting a bow that fits on that turtle on it, he puts the bow from the first turtle on it so it barely fits. And so when the wife wakes up in the morning, she thinks that the turtle miraculously grew overnight. I mean, it's strange to say that the turtle was switched out, and it's definitely not the same turtle that she had, but to the point, it was supposed to be a romantic gesture in the story, I believe, but she was very overjoyed by her turtle finally growing, and she was none the wiser in that instance. And I feel as though our companion's memory might be like that.
I feel like that is a very reasonable assessment of the situation.
Yeah.
Though, I wonder what happened to the other turtles.
Well, we can hope they lived a better life, being appreciated by people who appreciated them for them and weren't complained about for being too small.
That is fair.
What are you thinking?
I'm simply thinking of turtles.
Turtles. Well, that's good, since our conversation was just about turtles.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I am following along.
A lot of slightly aquatic creatures today.
Yes, there have been quite a number of them.
If you were an animal, what animal would you be, Xander?
If I were an animal,
Yes.
that is a difficult question to answer. I suppose I need to reflect on that.
Louie will finish up the last cookie dollop and then start to sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar on top. It'll melt in a little bit. And then when we bring them out of the oven, we'll add some more on top. It just gives it a little bit of a hint of icing. Now, if I was going full reckless abandon on that, I'd say add lemon to it. But let's keep it close enough to the recipe.
All right. I also need to amend my previous statement. Not as difficult a question as I originally anticipated.
Go on.
Human.
I think that's very good.
What about you?
I think I'd also like to be human. Louie will pick up the tray and gently place it on the baking oven area in the fireplace. Now we wait about... book says 20, depending on heat, since we have a furnace here. And Louie will turn his body and move his right arm forward. Yeah, 20 should be good enough. We'll keep an eye on it, though, so they don't get overcooked or undercooked.
Just right.
Exactly. Now, since we have some smaller cookies in there, we might have to take those out sooner.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So. It is the evening, and we do tend to play a game, and I know we've been probably asking more questions than we normally do in the game, but as I've said before, I just like getting to know you. But do you have any strange questions for me?
I'm assuming that that's not your first question.
Correct.
Strange questions.
Any question, really. I'm just curious what question Xander has for Louie today.
What do you fear the most currently?
There's a bit of a tie on that one.
All right.
I've expressed one of... in some instances, I guess I've expressed them in different ways to you before. One is I fear what will happen to me when I die. You seem to have utmost confidence that I'll be all right after death, which is a curious notion nonetheless.
Don't worry. I know what will happen to you after you die, Louie.
Well, should I know if it's painful or not?
Should you? Is that your second question, Louie?
No.
All
I
right.
suppose I'm teasing you.
All right.
And the other thing tied with that is... I'm afraid of being stuck wrong. Never feeling right again.
I see. Do you feel wrong currently?
No. It's honestly, I've
That's
been
good.
doing pretty good.
Yeah, it seems to be the case.
Since the caves, I think. Yeah. Which notably wasn't very fun, but it did help me get my mind in the right headspace to get everything organized enough with everyone else, because... Oh my god. Who puts up a shield when they're on a single fucking rock when someone's dying?
I know the answer to this one. Stavik. You really should ask harder questions, Louie.
I'm so sorry. I'll try to be a little more challenging for you.
Well, that's quite all right.
Not my actual question, but why did you want to know?
Well, a long time ago, perhaps the first time we ever played this game, before you knew we were playing the game, you had asked me a similar question after I asked you the question first.
Hmm. Well, I suppose our answers will change sometimes.
Do you have any questions for me?
Is there something that you're tolerating about yourself that you do not want to be?
Something that I am tolerating about myself that I do not wish to tolerate?
Yeah.
What a fascinating question, Louie.
I've been trying to make them tougher for you.
I suppose it would depend on how we define myself, and also how we define tolerate.
We?
Yes,
Hmm.
you and I are speaking after all.
But the question is for Xander.
Question is for Xander. Fortunately,
You happen
he's
to
not
be
all
him.
there right now.
Not all there? Hmm. Why is that?
I would say that I am more than I was and less than I've ever been.
I feel as though I will hold on to a couple of questions until the time is right.
Until the time is right, you say. How will you know that the time is right?
Because I'll think you're ready for them then.
Interesting.
And Louie
I suppose the...
will move
Yeah?
some stuff off of the counter and sit down on it.
I suppose the answer to your question, that is the easiest, most straightforward interpretation at least, is that yes, there are parts of myself that I am tolerating that I do not wish to.
Mm-hmm. I forgot to be more specific with that one.
Oh, that's a shame.
True. But I learned my lessons.
You do usually learn your lessons.
Usually, he says.
Sometimes you forget them.
It's true. I'm only human.
That is true.
Your turn.
My turn. I suppose my next question for you is, out of all of the frustrating, annoying situations you wish to avoid that you could see yourself ending up in because of it, which situation are you least excited about potentially running into? It's a very abstract question, Louie.
You mean with us traveling and or just living?
Sure, however you want to interpret it.
The least bothered by?
Mm-hmm. Of all of the, let's say, vexing situations that we might run into. Though I suppose I said least looking forward to, so the most bothered by.
I guess. You're right. I guess there's so much inconclusive information on where we're going to be going after Pentress, other than I guess we're going maybe to Parthenay to kill some slavers, which I am all for if that's where the road leads us. But to be frankly honest, after Pentress, it really depends on this whole Owen situation. That if it doesn't go to Parthenay, Louie will kind of lean forward as he's sitting on the counter. Look, Xander, I will follow you wherever you need me to be if you want me with you. Even if that might maybe add some extra stops on my end of my life road trip.
That means a lot, Louie.
The world is more important than my life anyways. So, it'll be some good I can leave behind. However, I have been told by a very good source that there is a high possibility I might just live for a while.
I feel that whoever this source is must be quite intelligent.
You don't say. Well, they are. Very smart. Very elegant. Very emotionally mature. For the most part. And deserves to enjoy things a bit more.
Well, in that case, I look forward to meeting this individual at some point in the future.
You might have met them already, briefly, in passing.
I don't remember.
It's okay. I appreciate every single aspect.
Very Louie thing to say.
Well, that means I haven't been switched out with a doppelganger yet, so we're good.
Oh, I'd know if you were switched out by a doppelganger, Louie.
How?
Well, there is a few ways that I would know.
Do you think they'd talk differently?
I suppose it depends. Has this doppelganger planned some elaborate means of slowly following our group, watching our dynamics, and then swapping you out? Is it just they pulled you into a cupboard and jumped out all of a sudden with no preparation? How diligent is this doppelganger? We need to know.
I suppose that's a good question. I've never been a doppelganger before, so I guess I've never considered how complicated that would be.
The simple answer is that the doppelganger wouldn't have your soul.
That's good.
Or they would.
Duh.
Which would be concerning.
That would be very concerning. I hope that my soul remains mine.
Is your soul yours?
Pretty sure. Although I
Fascinating.
suppose before meeting you, I've never really considered that there was a possibility of my soul not being mine.
I think it's yours, Louie.
That's good. I definitely haven't traded it from with a hag of some kind for a newborn baby and a golden spindle of silk or anything like that, so.
Well, you could have, and you might just not remember.
That's true. But since your confidence seems to say that I still have ownership over it, I will take your word for it until proven otherwise.
Probably a safe bet. For the most part.
For the most part. But I technically did not answer your question because I don't really have an answer. Honestly, I just don't know.
All right.
It's I guess it's a bit scary to think of.
Yeah.
I guess I would just hope that even though things are often very complicated for us, treacherous often, that at least something will work out in the end. And even if I have an option for something that I'm dreading the most or most worried about, I feel as though it would pale in comparison to whatever the fuck actually happens. So.
It's a good answer, Louie.
My turn?
Yes.
What, if any, are the lies you've told me since we've met?
The lies.
If you've
that I've
told me
told you.
any.
I do not recall telling you a lie, Louie.
That I am glad for. I had to ask.
I can understand that.
Most people lie. I mean, hell, I lie plenty, so. I've caused my own trust issues, I suppose.
I wouldn't say that you caused your own trust issues.
I try not to put blame on other people too often, only when they fully deserve it.
Of course. Of course. I suppose my next question for you has to be, how do you define a lie, Louie?
That is a good question. I suppose there is the blatant lie where you just do not tell the truth whatsoever. That is the simplest answer, correct? However,
Yes.
there are some instances where we could consider the obscuring of the truth being a lie, where there is still truth in the answer and no lie has been spoken. However, because you are not truly answering or choosing not to give the details that are truly needed to help someone, we can say in this instance, it really depends case by case, I think, personally.
Sure.
Then you could also possibly consider that as a lie. However, I think it's not as harsh. Sometimes you could consider something like that to be for protection, right? Someone doesn't say something because if someone knew something, then that could be dangerous, right? So you don't say the full thing. However, there is a possibility that we could still consider that lying, but I think that's more of kind of wiggle room, I guess. I know I do that, so
that makes sense. Very good answer.
I am less harsh when it comes to a lie like that in comparison to something where it's just blatantly to my face. And usually you can tell when someone's just blatantly lying.
That's true. I feel like a lot of the people that we spend time with also don't particularly put all that much effort into concealing the lies.
I kind of wish they would a little. It'd make the game a bit more fun.
That is fair.
But then again, I'd be a lot more annoyed.
You probably would be, and that would make your previous pledge a little bit more difficult.
That's true. That's true. You're going to say something?
Any other questions for me?
Sure. And Louie will take from his satchel his journal and flip to the back page, and you see just a list. Let's see. Oh, this one's good. I wrote this down last night. If you knew what you knew now at the beginning of your journey, what would you do differently?
If I knew what I knew now at the beginning of my journey. Huh.
I've been working hard on making sure these are good.
There are several things that I would do differently, or that I'd like to say that I would do differently. But one thing I would probably do is try to hold on to the embrace for just one moment longer.
What embrace?
The first one.
Well, that's vague, Xander.
I suppose it is. The one that started it all. But didn't.
You'll have to tell me one day what that embrace was.
I think you'll figure it out on your own.
Okay. I thought it was going to be something from before we even met.
It is.
It is. Okay. So... Okay. I guess I will. Louie will slide off the table and then go and check the cookies.
How are they looking, chef?
They're... I think we can take the small ones out. Do you mind if I ask the ladies if they wouldn't mind bringing it out? Does it not hurt them? Would heat hurt them?
They're fine.
Okay. Excuse me, and Louie will turn to Requiem and Rhapsody. Would one of you
They
mind
both look at you.
taking the tray out so that I can remove the smaller cookies to cool down?
Yes,
They say
please take the
nothing.
tray out. Please, ladies, remove the tray from the oven.
They both move at the same time and get in each other's way.
No, don't get so excited now. There's enough cookie for everyone.
They both move up to the oven and both grab the tray at the same time, pull it out of the oven, and then awkwardly turn around to hold the tray.
Just put it on the counter next to you.
Yes, please, on the counter.
The item is
And
placed on the counter.
cooling rack. And Louie will place kind of this netted metal piece next to it, and then with a flipper start to move the smaller cookies onto it. All right. It can go back in the oven now. Please.
Requiem, I'll have you do it this time. Please put the tray in the oven.
Requiem does so.
Don't worry, Rhapsody, you'll get your turn.
Rhapsody makes no action to denote whether they are happy or sad about such a thing.
Well, you have answered my question, which I hope was a very good Xander question, because I thought about it really hard last night.
Yes, it was a great question. I wish the answer could make more sense to you.
You said it will eventually. It's better than people saying something vague to me and then knowing full well I'll never understand what they're saying.
Yes. That seemed targeted.
Valentino.
I can see that.
Yeah. Or, in the very least, he's obscured his information so much, but acts like I should know and trust him.
You know quite a bit about Valentino today.
Yeah, that he's more reckless than I am.
That is true. That is true.
Look, I have a decent amount of self-preservation. Those people were bastards, but I know when a battle's lost.
Yeah.
But be it at the end of our journey, or the next step after Pentress, wherever... And Louie's eyes kind of glance down at Xander's amulet, which I assume he's still wearing.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever your friend sends us, I will find a way to take care of it.
Thank you, Louie. And Xander's actually going to bring his fingers up to his amulet, and he's going to let the moth out.
All right, you do so, and as you focus on that, a little tiny moth crawls out of that amulet.
Hey, buddy, I haven't seen you in a long time.
Its wings flutter.
It has been quite some time.
Oh, maybe they just needed a little bit of rest. I can understand that. Louis will give a little wink as he kind of moves his finger out to touch the edge of the amulet so that the moth can crawl on his hand.
It does so, and it tickles strangely on your skin. It has no discernible weight, but yet you can still feel its little feet.
I believe it is your turn.
Yes. Why do you want to be a librarian?
It's a really lame answer. It's just because I love books so much, and I thought for the longest time that that was my only way to find comfort in this world was through literature. And often it is still the case, to be frankly honest. I feel much better around it than people.
Sure.
It was also the only haven I had when I was allowed to go outside. I wasn't...
That makes sense.
Yeah. I wasn't really allowed to have friends or people that made my wife jealous. So there were a lot of restrictions on what I could and couldn't enjoy, and the library was one of that few allowed things. Notably after my Owen incident, I was not allowed to go anymore.
That makes sense, Louie. We share a lot in common.
I agree. And yet not. But I think
And yet not.
differences are fun.
Differences are fun.
I feel like if you were exactly like me, well, one, I wouldn't wish this anxiety on you ever.
I'm sorry that you have to deal with it.
It's okay. It's not. It is the result of just some bad things that happen in my life, and I can't really change that. So I say it's all right because there really isn't another option.
Yeah.
But I think you kind of do that sometimes too.
Oh?
I mean, I think you're a bit more chill about some things than I am.
Perhaps.
Naturally, you endure things outwardly very well. But
Thank you, Louie.
can't help but feel as though I've accidentally abandoned you sometimes in moments when you needed someone. And for that, I am sorry.
You have absolutely nothing to apologize for, Louie. I've not been abandoned.
I know you're never alone, but I don't need you to rely on me. I don't even know if I want you to rely on me in the sense that you can't be self-dependent. But I do offer in the sense that you don't have to be alone in the sense away from other humans.
I see. That makes sense.
I don't think the ladies count as human, probably. Though they may have been human once before.
One of them was.
Oh, what was the other one?
A very talented musician.
Oh. Were they both musicians?
They were.
Cool. Sorry, I just thought about how silly this conversation would seem to the others. They'd probably make faces.
I can imagine the sorts of faces they would make.
I don't know. Somehow, even though Stavik can't make expression, I feel like he would have the wildest energy about this.
I was going to say the same thing, actually.
What a strange being.
Certainly is strange. I look forward to talking to his daughter.
Yeah. We're so close to her now.
We are.
Wonder if she's dying. She's probably like really fucking old. Sorry. Not sorry. Is it okay? Do you mean it? That it's okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Certainly all right.
Okay.
She is 75, I believe.
That's not the oldest. It's not the youngest. It's probably gonna be longer than me, so what can I say?
Perhaps.
Well, I just hope we meet her in time for her to have enough sanity before Stavik breaks it, inevitably.
Well, I fully intend to converse with her while she's still sane. If she is sane at this point.
Yeah. Would you mind asking one of the ladies to pull out the tray?
Oh, yes. Rhapsody, I believe it's your turn. Please take out the tray and put it on the counter.
Rhapsody moves over, takes the tray out, and places it on the counter. And then looks
Lovely.
at you.
Good job.
Excuse me, miss. I just need to handle the cookies. And Louie will start to move the cookies over to the cooling tray.
Is this where you use your flurry of snowballs?
As much as they are powdered cookies, I think that would only make the cookies gross.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Though, I guess I could make snow cookies at some point with you.
Sure. That sounds like it could be fun.
We're gonna need some weird ingredients. Specifically, berries, probably.
All right.
Do you have a favorite berry? I know you haven't
Do I have
eaten that much, but...
a favorite berry? Do you?
Personally, Yeah, I like mulberries personally. I know they're not really grown around as often as like raspberries or blueberries, but I think they're really tasty. It's a good. It might be weird for me to say, but it's not overly sweet, but it's a smooth sweet. It doesn't have tartness to it that I feel like most berries have. Well, unless you
Interesting.
get it when it's not ripe, really.
Sure.
Which,
sure.
to its credit, still tastes good.
I don't know that I have a favorite berry.
Should we find it?
I suppose we could.
Well, now we just gotta let most of these cookies cool down, though I imagine the small ones have cooled enough. Are they a gift?
Yes.
Okay. Well, and Louie is going to hand a sifter over to Xander with a bunch of powdered sugar in it. Then I leave the honors to you to bless.
Okay. And Xander will take the sifter and he will slowly pour some of that nice confectioner's sugar. He's going to make like an interesting kind of figure of eight, almost like infinity symbol pattern as he's pouring.
You're quite peculiar.
I've heard that once or twice or more.
Was it for me?
I suppose it could have been. But surprisingly, you were not the first to call me peculiar.
Who was?
A man I once knew.
I hope it's not the mean one.
Which one?
The one that betrayed you? If I remember your story correctly.
I see. No.
That's good.
He
I don't want to be
was
related
not
to
the
that.
betrayer.
Oof.
Though I was quite fond of the betrayer.
It happens.
Though I suppose I was quite fond of Santiago.
Say that again?
Santiago?
Was that his name?
Yes.
Huh. No, I just thought it was interesting is all. One more question?
Sure. Is it my turn to ask or your turn to ask? And by one more question, do you mean one more question?
For each.
As in, I see.
I'll let you close out the night, so I'll do mine first. And if you're not opposed, and this is not part of my question, would you mind watching over me so I can get a couple hours of sleep?
I would certainly not mind, Louie.
As long as it does not prevent you from taking care of whatever business you need to take care of, because I know you're, like, really busy with a lot of stuff normally.
I no longer have the funds required to take care of my business.
Yeah. We're poor as sin right now. Oh, no. I mean...
No, I still have a good amount of money on me, just not enough.
Yeah, I'm really not surprised by that, to be honest, but I'm sure we'll come into some more gold at some point. Based on how our travels have gone, well,
We could probably catch up and find Mercado Velasco's caravan and rob him blind.
Oh yeah, they owe us money. We should do that before we leave, Rosaleo. Yeah, that's a good idea. But, for my question, I have this one. Louie will flip his page back, and you'll see another page just filled with more questions. If the world wasn't in danger, and you didn't have to help it or anything, what would you want?
I'm very sorry, Louie.
Oh no.
I'm very sorry. You have picked the wrong person to ask this question. Because if the world were not in danger, I would want exactly the same thing that I want now.
Yeah. That's on me, but I have to be creative with some of these, you know?
I suppose I can give you a better answer, though. If the world was not in danger, what would I want?
And it wasn't your responsibility either.
The world wasn't in danger. It wasn't my responsibility. I would want to stand on the shore.
Okay. Good to know. And you see him start to write down another question after you say that.
Xander raises an eyebrow.
I figured it would be too much to ask another one right away, so I'm holding it off for next time.
I see. That is quite the list of questions. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that this was some sort of interrogation, or that you were trying to put together a profile.
Louie quickly flashes the book, and all you see are questions written down. And he flips it back to himself. I don't write down the answers, so you have nothing to fear if someone stole my book.
I'm not afraid of that.
That's good. I'm not either. It just irritates me when people steal my journal.
People? You said people as if you meant person.
Did I?
Strange how that happens.
See, here's the questionable obscuring of truth thing. Am I lying? No. I'm just not saying what it is.
That is fair. I suppose my last question for the night, then, will be... No, I shouldn't ask that one. What would you do if, to achieve all that you wanted, you had to give up everything that you ever had and that you ever were.
Those are past tenses, though. I had nothing. And I'm pretty sure I was nothing. But if we're talking present, Louie... I might just do it. But it depends. And I think I'll leave it at that.
I see. Of course.
Of course. You're not surprised by my answer.
I'm not surprised by your answer.
I figured you wouldn't be. Though I don't think there's very often a time that I've surprised you.
No. You have surprised me, Louie.
Oh.
And before this is all over, you will surprise me again.
Louie picks up the empty tray and brings it over to a wash bin, kind of still looking back at Xander. Why do you think that?
I feel it.
Well, I hope they're good surprises and not bad ones, then.
I think it will be a good surprise. But with an unfortunate result.
It's kind of the way of our group, though, huh?
It is. Though sometimes there are bad surprises with unfortunate results, too. Just to spice things up.
Yeah, we can't just have good things.
No.
And people will claim, and Louis just accidentally drops the tray when he goes to, because he talks with his hand, so he turns to have his hand out and then realizes he drops the tray and sighs and turns around and goes and picks it up. People will say that, oh, how will you know the good things exist if the bad things didn't? And I would like to argue 13 years. 13 years of bad is how I know things should just be good.
That is a very fair argument that I feel like a lot of people would have a difficult time contending with.
It's true. I don't wish that experience on anyone.
Yeah. I don't wish it on you.
Well, let's hope it never happens again.
Yes, we certainly can.
And after a little while of Louie cleaning, he has the kitchen back to how it was before we entered.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that's everything. Here is a pouch for the cookies.
Pouch.
Just so you can carry them around if you want to hand them out or something.
Oh, I see.
It's just so they don't get messy in your bag or something.
Thank you, Louie. That's very thoughtful.
It's lined with the shiny part of leather on the inside so that the powder doesn't really get taken off like it would with fabric. Speaking of pouches, I might owe you one or two.
Pouches?
Yeah, and Louie will take out a couple and put it on the counter. That one has ashes in it
Mm-hmm.
from Luciana. When I was
Indeed.
cleaning up some stuff
Mm-hmm.
so that the others wouldn't keep it.
Lovely.
I didn't know if you wanted it, or if I should dispose of it, but in the very least, I kept it.
It's probably best if I dispose of those ashes.
And then there is this. And Louis will open up the pouch, and you can see some pink glittering little pills. These were what we found on the Bard, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes.
And I was wondering if they were the exact same as the ones we bought from Spider.
Well, Xander will pull out his pouch of Muse.
And if we compare them, Beardy, with Detect Magic and other observations, are they exactly the same?
The Muse?
The Muse that Spider sold us, and the Muse
Yes.
that the Bard had on them, their body.
They appear to have the same kind of magical aura about them. Yeah.
Okay. I can't tell if there were different ingredients used, because I know spiders were cheaper, and I was just curious.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Spiders were cheaper. But as far as you can tell with the Detect Magic spell, they appear to have the same kind of enchantment on it.
Okay. And is there anything else I could roll to see if there's any other aspect that could be strange or out of place?
I'll take a perception check.
Okay. Ooh. 14?
It's the same picture.
Nice.
As far as I can tell, they look exactly the same. Still don't know why Spiders was cheaper, but in the very least, it is in fact Muse. Though that's probably
Yeah.
the easiest one to identify out of all the drugs that he sold us. Sold you.
He had a really good supply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The things I wish I could look into if we didn't have other more important, pressing things to attend to.
We certainly will look into that at some point.
Sounds good. Now, if it is Zulin, I don't know if what the phrase is. I guess I owe someone money or something like that.
Well, I don't think Zulin's making the Muse, at least, so
True.
that is slightly reassuring. I also feel that they're relatively clean and lacking in horrific side
Animal
effects, so
things.
probably not Zulin.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know they're the same. I just wanted to check because I just like knowing.
So then you might be interested to know that B Mark 219654 is possessed of a soul.
Who?
Oh, I suppose you're not familiar with that name. Bergola. She was referred to by.
They have souls.
Yes.
Do they steal people's faces?
That's a wonderful question, Louie. They have no need to steal people's faces.
Okay. That's good Good to know.
It doesn't mean that she doesn't steal people's faces, just that she has no need to.
Right. I'm still a little hesitant and would like to know said method of stealing faces, but there is no current ability to learn that, and it's for the best right now.
I can ask her sometime if you'd like.
You're still in contact with her?
I am not in contact with her, but I can be in contact with her soon.
Oh. Okay.
I gave her my Echo Stone.
Oh. Sympathy magic?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you gave her your Echo Stone, do you want mine?
You have a purpose in mind for that. And you should stick to that.
Okay.
But I appreciate it.
Well, if I do end up dying, you might have to handle it anyways.
I can say with conviction that you probably will end up dying, Louie.
At some point.
Yes.
But you know what I meant.
Do I?
I think you do. You're also being a
safe
bit
bet.
of
A brat? Wow. It's like I can see the future or something.
Or my habits are very predictive.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps both.
You seem to be the only person who's actually decent at predicting my reactions.
Very surprising, because I do feel that you are rather predictable. No offense, Louie.
Hey, I mean, that's only bad for people who are trying to do me wrong.
That's true. I prefer reliable rather than predictable, actually.
Thank you.
Because, sometimes you do burn your entire arm, shooting out gouts of flame that destroy creatures from the void.
Yeah. But it worked.
So it did.
Yeah. And I know if there's ever another strange, gross, tentacly abyssal-like monster again, I know how to handle it.
That is true, though I don't think the moral of the story is that you should do that again.
That's true. I know. Let's try to avoid those things.
As best as possible, at least.
I don't think we're very lucky on our current journey, but I think that is... And Louie will kind of touch the moth again. Kind of part of what we need to do anyway sometimes.
That is true. That is true.
Shall we turn in for the night?
Yes. But first, Annie's gonna reach for 2 of these small cookies. And he's gonna shove them in his mouth.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Actually, if you want to make a profession check, we can see how good they turned out.
It was a group effort. What would that be? Intelligence?
Well, it would be a wisdom-based skill.
Okay.
So if you guys want to work together on this...
16.
You can each roll it, and I'll take the higher result of the two of you and apply the other one as an assist.
Okay. I would like to burn my natural divination from with the falling dirt and mirror that with the falling sugar and add a +10 to whatever I roll for this, which is going to be a 33.
Jesus Christ. I don't know why I'm here. I only made things worse.
No, that was a successful assist. I think.
I
Did
don't
you
know.
roll?
16?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
What are you looking at?
You.
And why are you looking at me, Louie?
Because I just thought you were really cute, I guess.
Oh. That is not what I expected you to say.
What did you expect me to say?
Not that.
Okay, well, I don't know. You just shoved 2 cookies that we spent a lot of time working together on into your mouth, and it's the first cookies that you've ever eaten before, and you look like you really enjoyed them, and something about that just really warmed my heart, okay?
I see. That makes perfect sense, Louie.
He's
They're quite good.
looking at the space behind Xander as his ears are growing red.
Xander turns to look at the space.
Sorry, I'm bad at making eye contact when I say these things.
Well then, don't worry, I'm not looking at you, Louie. Very focused on these delicious cookies.
Louie will hug Xander.
Xander will pat him with his or less
Less
powdery
powdered.
hand. Yeah. Now, I believe someone requires sleep.
That's the worst part of the night.
Sleeping?
Yes.
We'll have to fix that sometime.
I don't know if you can, but I wish you the best of luck on your endeavor. Come on.
Girls.
So, first cookies, good experience, and you made them yourself, so that makes it even more special.
Yes. Yes, I suppose it does.
Louie will go and turn in the silver key for the kitchen to the bartender.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much for letting us use your supplies.
Oh, quite all right. Did your whole thing turn out okay?
They turned out wonderfully. Thank you. And I cleaned up the kitchen afterwards, so hopefully you don't have to worry about that.
I'm sure it's absolutely fine. There's no problem at all.
Leave things better than how you got there, or something like that, right?
Well, aren't you just a very thoughtful guest? You truly don't need to be so worried about it. We have a staff for that very purpose. And you've all paid quite a bit for your time here.
Thank you.
Of course. Have a restful sleep tonight.
This morning. Thank you. Louie will go near Xander. So, should we do a bedroom or should I do the carriage? What's more convenient for you?
I think we should worry about what's more comfortable for you, Louie.
Oh, trust me. Sleeping is not comfortable.
That's true, but you don't need to make it any more uncomfortable than it's already going to be.
All right. I pick a bed then.
All right.
And Louie will work his way over to the room area in the tavern. Let's see. Hopefully no one's in here. Yep, we're good. Is
Lovely.
this enough space for everyone?
Oh, yes. We'll just get cozy over here.
If you want to sit on the side of the bed or something, you're welcome to.
Appreciate that, Louie.
Louie, kind of stands there for a moment, and then he'll unbutton his shirt, take that off, he'll leave his pants on, but take off his boots and climb into bed, stare at the ceiling for a while, kind of scratching his forehead, and he will eventually, almost like he's peeling off a mask, kind of take his fingers and like pinch near the side of his eye and pull to the other side as he dismisses the keep watch spell. And he's gonna fall asleep eventually because he has not slept for weeks and the exhaustion is piling, so it probably isn't that hard to fall asleep. But it will be awful.
Yep. You, in fact, fall asleep rather quickly. Xander, what would you like to do?
Xander will sit down, not crisscross applesauce as the only legal way to do it here.
He's such an illegal
but
person.
with his feet folded underneath him, and he will look at Requiem and Rhapsody, look at Louie, and then he will begin to plan.
Well, then, as you plan the rest of your actions for the upcoming few days, that is where we will fade out for this episode.
All right.
Lovely.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.